Hello, this is Mr. Atherall. I'm going to talk for a bit about Act 4 in Macbeth. I've done some other videos for Acts 1, 2 and 3, so go back and watch those if you like. Act 4, really short act, just 3 scenes in it. So we're going to talk about some important quotations from that, what's going on, things we might discuss in terms of ideas that come out of those scenes. So, Act 4, Scene 1, we've got the witches again. They're chucking a load of stuff into a cauldron, and then Macbeth turns up to get some more clarification on the prophecies over his life. He wants to know more about what's going to happen in the future. He wants some, I guess he wants to feel better. He wants to feel safer. He wants to be reassured by the witches. And they give him that reassurance, although they deceive him through that reassurance, because actually there is danger and death for him to come. So let's have a look at the things they say. So some apparitions appear, and initially they say something that's true. Macbeth, 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 beware Macduff. Macduff is the guy who ends up killing Macbeth, so that's an accurate warning for him. But then the apparition says, none of woman born shall harm Macbeth. So Macbeth gets this feeling of invincibility from that, because he thinks, well, everyone's a woman born, so therefore I can't die. Now, the catch in that is that Macduff was born by cesarean, and so therefore he was not born, as they would term it, by women, so therefore he can kill Macbeth. But Macbeth feels invincible when he hears this. He thinks, I am safe, and it gives him an arrogance and invincibility that lasts for the rest of the play. They also say, Macbeth shall never be vanquished, shall never be defeated, until great Birnam wood to high Dunsinane hill shall come against me. So there's this idea that when the wood from Great Birnam Wood comes to Dunsinane Hill, and he thinks, how are woods going to move? That's not going to happen. So therefore, again, I'm not going to be vanquished, because that sounds like an impossibility for that thing to happen. So he has that sense of arrogance and invincibility as a result of it. He's told to beware Macduff, and so he decides, right, I'm going to kill Macduff. I'm going to send people to Macduff's, but Lennox tells him Macduff has fled to England. Macduff has fled to England to go to Malcolm, who would have been the king when Duncan died. So Macduff has joined Malcolm's side. Now, in the last video I made, I talked about how Macbeth was starting to take more control of the killings that he did, and again here it is, without Lady Macbeth's influence, he's going to command some killings. And there's also a real coldness about these killings, because he's killing people that, I mean, everyone's innocent so far that he's killed, but these people are just bystanders, really, happen to be married and happen to be children of the people that he has been warned about. And so he decides to kill Macduff's family, which is villainy perhaps beyond what he's already done. He's killed people that have got in his way before. Now he's just killing children and wives, and so his villainy has reached this next level. Remember that quote that I talked about in the video about Act 3, where he talked about he needed hard use. The initiate fear wants hard use. Now he's given it hard use, and he's starting to not feel guilty about the crimes that he's committed. So he says, the castle of Macduff I will surprise, give to the edge of the sword his wife, his babes. There's no emotional connection to that. He's just going to kill his wife, his babies, his children. They're all going to get killed. No emotion, let's just get rid of them, because I've been warned about Macduff. So the next scene is Lady Macduff and her son getting killed. You don't see Lady Macduff getting killed. She runs away, pursued by a murderer. You see the son getting killed. The first murderer, one of my favourite insults in Shakespeare, says "you egg" as he stabs the son. Not particularly a quote you need to remember though, but just a nice bit of weird humour from Shakespeare there. So Act 4, Scene 2 is the death of Macduff's family. Macduff has fled, so he is not there to receive that. Then we've got Act 4, Scene 3, and this takes us to England, where Macduff is. So Macduff doesn't yet know that his family have died. He's having a chat with Malcolm. He's encouraging Malcolm to fight back and come and take the crown that is rightly his. Malcolm says, this tyrant, he's talking about Macbeth being a tyrannical leader, whose whole name blisters our tongues. Great metaphor. Just saying his name blisters that's how evil he is. My tongue is blistered. That's a great word to zoom in on and talk about the pain and suffering that we associate with blisters. And that is Macbeth that is causing that. Macbeth's name, just saying it, has that effect on us. Whose whole name blisters our tongue, was once thought honest. We once thought this guy was honest. That's where he's come from. This guy that was honest. He was thought honest. He actually was fairly honest at the beginning until he heard the prophecies of the witches and ambition took over, and he started in this murderous lifestyle. So then Ross turns up. Ross has got the news about Macduff's family being killed. So Macduff asks Ross, the tyrant has not battered at their peace, about his family. Has he battered at my family's peace? And Ross responds, I have words that would be howled out in the desert air. So there's that kind of, even in the desert, where there's nothing around, there's that isolation, even in the desert, the words I have to tell you that your family has died would be howled out. There is an anguish. Macduff is in touch with his emotions. Macduff, as any man would be, is devastated by the loss of his family. Ross gives him the news pretty straightforwardly. Your wife and babes savagely slaughtered. Merciful heaven, responds Malcolm, and Macduff calls Macbeth a hellkite, someone from hell, committing this predatory murder of other people. All my pretty chickens. There's that emotive language, that emotive metaphor used for how he feels about what has happened. And Malcolm realizes that this emotion can be used. Let grief convert to anger. You feel you're grieving over your family, let it convert to anger. We will go and seek revenge against Macbeth. Macbeth is ripe for the shaking. He's ready to be destroyed and taken out. And that's where Act 4 ends, with them getting ready to go back to Scotland and take on Macbeth.